Hello everyone, what's up? It's me and Young Monster 3, and I know this video is a little bit delayed, but this is going to be my top 10 best movies that I've watched during 2021. And for those of you who have followed my channel for a while, you know that I'm only going to include films that I've seen for the first time. So any rewatches that I like films that in general I've seen numerous of times before that I've seen. I mean, those are not going to be included in this list. So also, I decided to have some honorable mentions, and just to point that out, the honorable mentions are in no specific order. I could say all of these are really amazing films that just barely were like outside of the top 10 list. So, yeah, the honorable mentions are the first one that I want to mention is The Best Years of Our Lives, which is sort of like a after the war type film about these soldiers that gets back home and all of their lives are changed very dramatically, and some of them have a little bit more hard time to adapt to the home to life back home again. So yeah, The Best Years of Our Lives, great film. 1946. By the way, I'm probably gonna leave the link down below in the description to the list itself if you want to know more about the films that I'm gonna be mentioning in this video. So, yeah. Next honorable mention is The Martian from 2015 with Matt Damon. I think most people probably know about this film, but I'm so surprised because the film is directed by Ridley Scott. I just wish he could have made more films like this instead of keep doing the whole alien thing over and over and over again. Um, Really great film, basically about Matt Damon's character getting um, pretty much not abducted, but he gets like left on um Mars, left behind, and he has to adapt to the life on Mars, and he just tries to do his best to survive. Um, Even though most of the like scenes in the film is just Matt Damon wandering around on Mars, that sounds maybe a little bit boring. But the cinematography and the music and the way Matt Damon is like interacting, because he's like pretty much talking to the camera just for the sake of keeping something alive, because he pretty much thinks, well, I might not survive this, so I need to leave something behind. So yeah, really great. So yeah, The Martian. Then I also, next honorable mention is Split Decisions from 1988. I know some people might say, "Whoa, that is why is this even on your honorable mentions? I mean, this is not even a good film." But I mean, if you do love some of the old Rocky films, you definitely like this film as well. I could say that I actually prefer this one. Oh, I mean, I do love most of the Rocky films, but I would say that this film is a much better boxing film than Rocky Five. But then again, Rocky Five is, I mean, it has its flaws. But yeah, really great chemistry between the main characters played by Craig Sheffer and Jeff Fahey, who plays brothers in this. And Gene Hackman does a phenomenal job as playing this really grumpy old like father of theirs that just he's so disappointed in Jeff Fahey's character because he pretty much do the opposite things of what he wants. So and Craig Sheffer pretty much plays the good son in this. So I mean that sounds a little bit weird, but if you've seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about. Great actors, great. I mean the acting was amazing, and I really loved the characters and the chemistry between the characters. That's the main reason why I really loved this film. I mean the storyline might be a little bit cliche, but then again, I mean it's just really the chemistry and the acting in the film that really uh, that's really great in this. So yeah. Then we have next honorable mention is Cross of Iron from 1977 by Sam Peckinpah. Um, Really depressing war film and pretty interesting as well, because it's pretty much from some Germans' point of view in the war, because very many Germans in Second World War, they were just following orders. I'm not saying that as a defense or anything, because what they did during war was just absolutely brutal. The same goes for the Soviet Union and all of that. I'm not going to go into too much political things, but some of these soldiers felt like they just needed that specific medal, and that's really what this film really covers. Just didn't care about nothing else. The main thing was just to get the Cross of Iron, because in that way you are really an honorable person and really like a brave person. It's sort of like a sign of sign that you're a real man basically. So yeah, Anyway, Cross of Iron, next honorable mention. The next honorable mention here we have Good Will Hunting, which I think I had seen before, but when once I started to watch it, I realized I had not seen this before. And once again, this is such a rich, amazing story, great chemistry between the characters. I mean, I'm pretty much just repeating myself over and over again because this pretty much goes for all of the films on this list. So, Good Will Hunting, the next honorable mention. That's the last honorable mention, by the way. Then we have and the to the top 10 list finally after like 6 minutes already. Um, at number 10, we have another Sam Peckinpah film. This, I would say, is probably his best film that I've seen so far. I'm a big fan of his other work. But yeah, number 10, we have Wild Bunch. Uh, and I think, once again, it's just the characters that they're just very different from one another, and somehow they work together as a team, even though they are really bitter towards one another, and they just sometimes just really not know if they are actually going to shoot each other, even though they're like pretty much best buddies in a way. So I mean, it's just the way that they keep together, even though their situation are really bad sometimes. So I mean, yeah, great film, great western, probably one of the best westerns I've seen, to be fair. So yeah, The Wild Bunch at number 10. And then at number 9, we have Walking Tall, not the Dwayne Rock Johnson film. This is the film from 1973 with Joe Don Baker. Pretty much about this guy who gets, once again, this is another film where one guy gets, I think he returns to his old hometown or something, but then he realizes it's been more corrupt, and there's just people there that just doesn't want any part of him there because he pretty much sees the corruptness or whatever in the town, and he decides to go on like vigilante himself to try to clean up the scum in the society in his own town. And of course, he's very well liked by half of the town, and the other half of the town is the corrupt part of the town, basically. So it's sort of like a little war there between them because he gets elected as a sheriff, and then after that, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and people keep picking on his family and tries to kill him and beat him up and all that. So yeah, really great film. I am really looking forward to see the sequels, even though it does not have the same actor in it. So I think there's 2 more films in that series, if you don't count the Dwayne the Rock Johnson film, which I think is supposed to be some sort of remake on the original one. But yeah, great film. If you like revenge type films in general, this is one of the best ones I've seen, actually. So yeah, Walking Tall at number 9. Then at number 8, we have a film which I would dare say is my favorite in this like whole series. But the film is Manhunter from 1986, which is based on the same story as The Silence of the Lambs, but this is pretty much before Hannibal Lecter, because Hannibal Lecter is just like in jail, I believe, in this one, just like he is in Silence of the Lambs, but he doesn't have a whole big storyline. I mean, the main focus in this film is really Buffalo Bill. And I know probably the majority of people prefer The Silence of the Lambs, but I really enjoyed this one much more. Even though I can't deny that Silence of the Lambs is a good film, but I mean, I was just so blown away of how really good this film was. So yeah, Manhunter at number 8. And then at number 7, we have Where the Day Takes You, which I think I liked very much just because it's about these not outlaws, but these pretty much kids that is pretty much abandoned by society. I mean, they have basically no home life, and they're just teens out in the streets, have next to no money at all, and they just try to keep together. And I think it's supposed to take place somewhere in the Hollywood area as well, which I really enjoyed because sometimes when you think of Hollywood, I mean, it's just like the glitter and glamour and all of that. This shows the opposite side of that, and I'm really glad that the filmmaker dared to show what was going on as well back, I mean, in the back alleys basically of Hollywood, which I don't think so many people think about, to be honest. So that's a thing that I really liked about the film. And of course, I'm going to repeat myself when saying the acting and the casting of this is really great. And Dermot Mulroney is amazing in this. I just wish he was in more films. Also, Sean Astin shows up, and Baltzar Getty. really great cast, really great chemistry between the characters as well. So they all have their own different problems that it just keeps on biting them basically. So it's just they have to survive on the streets no matter how hard it is. That's just their lifestyle basically. So yeah, where the day takes you at number 7. At number 6 we have Slingblade from 1996 with what's his name, Billy Bob Thornton. Um, Great drama film. I'm not going to repeat myself. The same thing that I've said about the previous films goes for this film as well. Yeah, Sling, but I think most people probably seen this one already. I think this he was. I'm not sure if he won an Oscar or if he was nominated for an Oscar for this portrayal or this role. So, yeah, I was just so blown away by his performance in this. So, and I mean, Billy Bob Thornton, for me, I mean, I've never been a that big fan of him. I mean, I think he's a fine actor, but I never really got the whole thing why people say, oh, he's great. And then I watched this and I'm like, wow, he proved me wrong on that one. So, I mean, I know he can play some really great, his acting is great. That's what I wanted to say. So, yeah. And at number 5, we have Firstborn, which is a drama film from 1984, and this is the first film with Corey Haim in it, his like debut or whatever. Um, and this also has Peter Weller and Christopher Collett in it. Christopher Collett is the guy from Sleepaway Camp that plays the is it Paul, I believe his character's name was in that. Yeah. And it's basically about his character and Corey Haim's character. They live with their mother, and their mother has a new um, boyfriend, and of course, this boyfriend is treating them really bad, and the mother doesn't seem to realize this. So there's a whole. It's pretty much like a family drama type film. Really well played, really great performance by everyone. Even though Corey Haim is really young in this, I think he did an amazing job. And he's not the main character. That's just what I wanted to say as well. So Christopher Collett is really the star of this film, along with maybe Peter Weller and the mother, played by Terry Garr, I believe. Yeah, if you like Corey Haim, I mean, this is a great film, but just don't expect Corey Haim to be the main character. That's what I wanted to say. So yeah, Firstborn at number 5. And number 4, we have the film called The Untouchables. Most people have probably known about this film, the one with Kevin Costner, Sean Connery. Um, Great cast, great acting. I'm just repeating myself. I'm just going to move on because I know I've almost been talking for 30 minutes. At number 3, we have another like gangster type film, which I've never seen before, Goodfellas. I'm sort of surprised that I have not seen this film before, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Same thing that I said about the previous ones goes for this film as well. So yeah. At number 2, we have Princess Bride. This is another one which I felt I should have watched a long time ago. And I definitely agree with what most people say about this film. It has everything in it. I mean, it has fantasy, action, comedy, romance. I mean, everything. This is a great tale, really. And the end, I'm not going to spoil the end if you haven't seen this film, but the ending just gets to me. Really, really, oh, amazing. I love it. Soundtrack as well is absolutely spectacular in this one. I loved the soundtrack in this. Yeah, great characters as well. Repeating myself over and over again. So let's move on to the number 1, which I can say right away. This is the film that, I mean, I barely like start to cry while watching films. But just thinking about this film, the ending and all that, I mean, this film really broke me. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. Oh, this has everything. James Stewart is amazing. His wife, played by what's her name, Donna Reed, great. I loved their chemistry, and I loved the whole storyline as to pretty much goes through his entire life of how he grew up and how he became afterwards, and he gets into trouble, and of course he needs to get proven right why he is very valuable in life. And yeah, the ending is just, oh damn, that really got to me. Just speaking about, I think I mentioned it in another update video where I bought this film because I watched it on TV last year, and this was the first film I watched last year as well. So that's the first film, and also was also the greatest film I watched last year. So yeah, anyway, I think most people probably know about this film now, so I'm not gonna keep on going around with the film, like talking about it. But yeah, It's a Wonderful Life at number one. So yeah, that's the greatest films that I watched during the year 2021. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the garbage of the year that I watched, which are the worst ones that I've seen as well. So yeah. Anyway, keep your eyes open for that video, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.